Hey guys, it's EJ with Blockpad, and today I want to take a look at the Blockpad 1.7 release. So first, with this release, we've got a new installer, and as part of that, if you get the new release, then you've got this new option up here, Manage Installation. This is going to bring up the installer window that you'll also see when you download the program for the first time. So there are two big changes from our old installer. First is that you now have a language option. And if you change the language here, you're going to see all of this in a new language. But then if you follow on with reinstalling, you'll also see all of your tools and toolbars and properties in the new language as well. We're going to change this back to English. We also have a channel option, stable, for getting the mature releases of all of our updates, and beta for getting test versions of our updates. So if you switch to beta, you'll get access to new features sooner, but they're going to be test versions of the software. So be on the lookout for bugs and definitely report that to us so that we can get them fixed. So I'm not actually making any changes right now, so I'm not going to reinstall. I'm just going to close out. Next, we have a change to how some special symbols are handled in formulas. Specifically, there are some math symbols that are operators, but don't do any actual math in Blockpad. Before, these were treated as regular characters in the formula system, but now they're going to be treated as operators. And we made that change so that they'll behave as expected in static equations. So an example of some of those symbols are this squiggly equals, the plus or minus sign, or the division sign. Now, if previously you were using one of these symbols in a value name, then you're going to have to put that value name in Latex syntax. So as an example, this arrow is one of the symbols that's now treated as an operator. So this isn't going to work as a value name, but if you add the Latex syntax around it, then it will now work as a value name and be displayed in the same way. Next, most of the big changes in this release are around style rules. First, we've got some optimizations that we added specifically if you had a lot of style rules in spreadsheets. Next, we reorganized the objects of type list. So if I go to Style, Manage Styles, this objects of type list now has parents and then the children underneath them in a very hierarchical setting. So for example, any paragraph and then all of the stuff that files underneath that, and then heading, all the headings underneath that, etc. In addition to that, we added some new object type options. So for paragraphs, we added regular paragraph option, a non-outline paragraph, and outline paragraph options. So an outline paragraph for context is any paragraph that is inside of a list. So a bullet list or a numbered list. Those are going to be outline paragraphs. So a regular paragraph are these typical paragraphs, but they also include outline paragraphs, but not headings. Outline paragraphs just include these, and then outline 1 to 9 describe the different levels. So this is 1, outline 2, outline 3. If I tab over, it'll go to 4, 5, etc. Shift tab to go back. A big change associated with this is now any paragraph also applies to headings. So if you had that in an old file, you might notice your headings are a little bit goofy now. And that might be because if I go to Manage Styles, you might have had something like this set to any paragraph. So now that any paragraph style is applying to your headings as well. So you might need to change that to either regular paragraph if you want it to apply to lists as well, or to non-outline paragraph if you don't want it to apply to the lists. So I'll close out of this. The next change that we've got is one that I'm a big fan of. We have equation body, equation step, and equation result. And this is pretty cool because it's going to let you have the Blockpad style input output colors in whatever colors you want to specify, and they're going to print when you save to PDF. So if I go to File, save to PDF, okay, then click save. Then now I'm in that PDF, I'm going to have those colors where before you wouldn't have since they were just for display while working in the file. One little note I want to make about that though is that if you set those colors, those are going to take priority over any dynamic equation properties that you set, even if they're in a conditional formatting style. So just to show you, I have style managed styles. I have the C-check style applied to this, and it's set to a dynamic equation with a blue border and a red text highlight. But if I change this to be 10, then all I see is the blue border. And that's because those body and step and result formatting are overriding that dynamic equation formatting. So to fix that, I might have to change this to any. And now that any is going to be applying to the equation body and step and result. But notice that I also get the border around those. So if you really want a border and text highlight, you're going to need to make two rules, one set to any for the text highlight and one set to dynamic equation for the border. I'm going to press Control Z for that and close out of this. The next style rule thing is that style rules can be applied to specific blocks. So if you've got a custom block, you can now select that block and then go to the style manager and set up style rules just for that block. This is great for styling the table of contents. So just to show you guys what that looks like, I have this example. I'm going to go right, table of contents, click OK. I'm going to double click this. I want to show the links as text and show the page numbers. Click OK. So I'm going to click this, go to the Style Manager and Manage Styles. So note I already have this non-outline paragraph style with spacing after 8 that's being applied into this block. I'm going to make a new rule applied just to the block content for my container. And for this, I'm going to set any paragraph, and I want all the paragraphs in there to have a spacing after of 0 so that I can overwrite that change. And notice that's not overwriting it in the rest of the file, just for the block. Now I'm going to make a new rule. These first options are non-outline paragraphs. So to show you, I can format the background and change that to green and click OK. So it's just touching those. Next, I can set outline 1 and change the background to that to be this yellow and click OK. And now that's just formatting this heading 2 option, and that's outline 1. Next, I'm going to change outline 2, and this is going to get to the heading 3 levels. So I'm going to change the background on that to this blue and click OK. So now if I close out of that, then you can see all of those levels are at something different. Now, one thing I like personally to do with this, I'll set a new rule for the block content, and I'm going to change any paragraph, and I want the border to go to the bottom, apply and preview, click OK, and then close out of this. And then I'm going to turn the page number leader off and update block. And I just like the way those bottom borders look on there. The colors were really just to show you how you can change different levels. So that is going to let you customize the table of contents a lot better. Next, we have that decimal formatting now works for complex numbers. So equal sign, if I get a complex number here, I'm able to format those decimals and they're going to be formatted together. Next is that we now have local library caching for custom libraries. So that's going to let you use custom libraries offline much better and probably with some improvements to performance as well. And then in addition to all of that, we have a number of bug fixes and various small improvements that we've made. And you can see all of those on the release notes page, which I'm going to put in the description. But just to show you guys how to get to it, I'm going to minimize Blockpad. And then I'm going to go to my browser. And now on the Blockpad homepage, I'm going to go to support and scroll down to release notes here. And that's going to have the release notes for the latest version. And if you scroll down, you'll see the release notes for old versions as well. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thank you.